All right, so this is my first video, so bear with me, but I wanted to show you a few of the features that you're also going to need as you're working through Excel. So if we take a look at task 2, if you download it and open it, you'll notice that it's a Word file. So what we need to do is we need to copy the data from Word, okay, and we need to paste it into Excel. So we can go to Word, we can copy the cells, we can go to Excel, and we can paste it. All right. Once you've pasted it, you'll notice a few things. You'll notice first that all of instead of writing stationary and filling the cell, it's actually wrapped the text. So it has like stationary tum. What you want to do is if you look up here, you'll see that it says wrap text. So we're going to unwrap that text. Okay. So now that's not highlighted anymore, which means that it's saying not to write it underneath like we saw it. Well, now it's the column width is a bit too small. So what we want to do is we want to go over and we want to widen that column width. So the easiest way to widen it is to go between the A and the B with your cursor until you see the double arrows like that. Once you see that, you double click and you'll notice that we can read all of the words that are in the cell. We can do the same thing between B and C, and we can do the same thing between C and D. Okay, so now all of our information is there. So what we want to do now is we want to say, okay, well, that's great. We're going to order 202 notepads at $285 a notepad. What kind of information do we want to know? Well, one, we want to know how much those items cost. We also want to know how much tax we're paying. And then we want to know how much the total is. So we're going to calculate some of those columns. So first I'm going to go here to D1 and I'm going to do total without tax. Okay, so it's a bit short. So again, I'm just going to double click and get to my cell. So in order to tell Excel that you want to do a calculation, what you need to do is you need to type the equal sign. As soon as you type the equal sign, it knows that it's going to do a calculation and not to display what you actually type. So you hit equals. Well, we want to take those 202 notepads. So we're going to click on the 202. Notice it's put B2 so it's told it's going to cell B2 and getting the information. And we're going to take that and we're going to multiply that by how much each of them cost. So the 285. So we're going to do 202 times 285, and that should give us what our total is without tax. Once we've done that, we can just hit enter. And so you see it's going to cost $575.70. If you click on it again, you'll see up here, it shows the B2 times the C2. Well, now we want to do the same for all these cells. So 280 times 295, 520 times 250, 340 times 250. So the easiest way to do that, I had shown you before that you could just do Control C, and then you could highlight all the rest of the cells and you can do Control V and it will do that for you. But I'm actually not going to do that this time. I'm going to show you a different way to do it. So I'm going to delete all that data. So I'm back to here. So I'm still going to Control C it. Okay. Actually, I'm not going to Control C it. Ignore me. I'm just going to highlight the cell. So I'm going to highlight the cell $575.70. Well, I want to copy everything in that cell all the way down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and see this little square. Well, I'm going to hover the mouse over the square until it turns into a plus sign, my mouse. Once it does that, I can hold the button down on the left-hand side of the mouse, and then I can drag. See how it's got kind of like that outline now? It's a bit fuzzy. Once you drag it to where you want to, you just release the mouse and look, it's actually drawn. It's actually copied all of the formulas down. You can click on one to see what it's done, B3, C3, or if you remember, if you hit Control and the tilde, that's the key right beside the number 1, it'll show you all of your formulas. Okay, so you can make sure that they're all correct. And then to go back, you just press Control and tilde and you can go back. So now we want to calculate the tax. I'm going to calculate the tax. Okay, taxes usually in Ontario is 13% of what you buy. So what you have to pay. So we're going to pay $575.70 and we have to pay 13% of that. So if you remember from math class, if you want to calculate a percentage of something, 13%, is it a number? 13% is really 13 out of 100, which would be 0.13. So we're going to take that amount and we're going to multiply it by 0.13. So I'm going to go equals, and click on the 575. I'm going to do times, and I'm going to do 0.13. And when I do that, I hit enter. and I get $74.84. Just so you know, again, I'm just going to do it one more time. Equals 826. I'm going to do multiply on the keyboard. The multiplication symbol is the one above the 8. It's the star, and then decimal 13. Again, if I want to copy that all the way down, I just simply go here to this little square, hover over it until I get the plus sign, hold the left mouse button down, drag it until I'm finished, let it release, and it'll copy them all down. Finally, I want to do my total. My total is just going to be the sum of these two cells. So it's going to be equals 575 plus, I'm going to type the plus, that's right there beside the backspace. Grab the other cell, the E2 cell, the 74, so you can see it there, hit enter, and it's figured out how much I actually owe. So again, I'm going to see it, I'm going to hover over that square, drag down, and I have all my information. So I've got all my columns. I'm feeling pretty good about them. And then I realized, I'd really like to know how much I spend on average, or I'd really like to know what in terms of my minimum costs were. So what things cost the least and what cost the most. So I'm just going to type those words here: minimum, underneath maximum, and average. Whoops, average. Okay. And so now what I want to do, so I'm just going to make sure they're wide enough. There we go. So now what I want to do is I want to use some of those minimum. I want to find through here what is the minimum. And I can look through here, but why would I do that when Excel can do it for me? Okay. So what I want to do is I want to use another formula, and there's two ways that we can do this. If you go back up to your auto sum, okay, if you click on auto sum, you'll see that it has the min, max, average, and other functions. So you can click on min, all right, and what it'll do, you'll see it's grabbed all those cells. But you don't actually want it to grab all of those cells, so you can just tell it which ones you want it to highlight, okay? So you can click on a cell and tell it, and drag until it tells it how many. Or you can actually physically type it in. So I could change this 2 to a 1 or back to a 2 and tell it what cells to do. And so when I do that, it's telling me that my minimum is 118.85. So my pencil sharpeners are what are going to be the least amount of money that I spend is going to be on pencil sharpeners. So then I want to know, where do I spend the most amount of my money? So again, I'm going to go to this auto sum. I'm going to pick maximum, and it's assumed that I want the cell above, but I don't. I want to actually look through here. So I'm going to highlight all these instead. And then I'm going to hit enter. And so it's told me that the most I'm going to spend on any one of my items is $14.69, which in this case is those ballpoint pens in blue. And in another lesson, I'll show you how to actually highlight some of that information. So average, yep, that's also going to be up here in auto sum. So you click on auto sum, you click on average. Notice it uses the average keyword. Again, it's made an assumption for you that you want to just average those cells. You don't. You want to average an average of all of your items. So each of those items in your list, what's the average amount you spend on them? So then you just hit enter, and you see that every item costs on average $487. Okay. Again, we can do some formatting on it. So I can grab all of this data and make sure. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to get rid of all my borders. Okay. And then I'm going to put I'm going to actually wait for a minute to do that. But what I am going to do is I'm going to change my font and make sure that all my font sizes are 14. Okay. And then I'm going to take this header column and I'm going to say, it doesn't really stand out. So I'm going to go here to the bucket tool and I'm going to say, let's change the background color to a light gray. So now those headers kind of stand out. And then I want to take this total column and I'm going to go and I'm going to say, actually, I apologize. I'm going to take all of my monetary columns, so my totals, and I'm going to change those so that they have a dollar sign. So I'm going to go over here. You see it says number. I'm going to click on the down arrow, and I'm going to go to currency. And so now all my cells have 2 decimals and a currency associated with it, and I'm going to do the same thing here. There's one more thing that we need to do with this spreadsheet, and I'm running out of time on this recording. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to pick it up on the next recording. So please watch both.